Hi guys, Wendy Sebastian with Refresh Your Soul. So I've been having a lot of people reach out to me. It's the new year and we're talking about emotional eating. So part of what happens when the holidays are here, there's a lot, emotions are high. And I don't want to just hit it on the holidays. So sometimes life happens and things show up in our life. And the way we cope is we have feelings and then we reach out to food, sex, drugs, all those things. But here at Refresh Your Soul, we focus in obviously on food and diet. That's what we do here. So, basically, as a result of dealing with food and coming into balance with disordered eating, there's 5 things that I have found that have worked for me and my clients. First off is stop whatever you're doing. Stop, take a breath, and ask yourself, what am I getting out of what I'm doing? Secondly is to ask yourself, what is it that I'm feeling right now? Now this might take a minute because I have my feelings wheel and I want to get in my body and I want to go, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling agitated, I'm feeling frustrated, but most of the time when we're reaching out for our food, we're trying to numb the way we feel. And for me, it was that I felt uncomfortable with feeling alone. So food became my best friend, and the truth was I was emotionally unavailable, and me and my food, we were doing it for over 2 decades. So anytime I had a feeling, the thing that I did was I put food in as fast as I could and then I got it out as fast as I could. So we all have our different eating patterns on how we deal with things, but usually it's a numbing thing. So when we have disordered eating or we want to reach for food and we're really trying to build that healthy lifestyle, we want to stop, pause, and ask ourselves, what am I feeling? What am I getting out of what I'm doing? Am I really hungry? Or am I trying to change the way I feel? After that happens, usually we are flooded with remorse, shame, or guilt. If you have a close friend that you feel comfortable with sharing your current situation with, I suggest you pick up the phone. This is where the behavior changes. Hi, Sally. I just was reaching and eating a bag of Ho-Hos. This is what's going on. Jack and I got in a huge argument over the kids, and I went straight into the cupboard and I ate 4 Ho-Hos, and I want to eat some more. Getting in the hole, Brene Brown talks about this. Usually we only have like 3 people that we can really get in the hole with and not feel judged. And this looks like somebody that can really just sit there and listen and not try to fix you. But getting in the hole is really important. Allowing somebody to see you at your worst takes away the shame. The shame is what propels the bad behavior. Letting somebody see you at your worst when you're flat on your ass allows them to get in the hole with you and help you up out of it. This was where everything started to change for me with my eating disorder. I allowed somebody to see me at my worst, and somebody met me with the most loving, compassionate eyes and hands and voice, and there was no judgment. And as a matter of fact, there was comments like, of course you did, and this is what you've been doing your whole life. I didn't even know how to go to the grocery store without buying binge food. And slowly but surely, I started to learn some new behaviors on how to get out of that hole. And I wasn't so despicable to other people. They saw me for who I was and not for that behavior. So that's number 3. And number 4 is always have a plan. So when you know your pitfalls, set up a plan so that when you fall down. So I knew going to the grocery store was a setup for me. It was not a good thing for me. Or celebrations. I didn't know how to do parties well. It was awkward. I'm an introvert. Sometimes I get socially awkward even today. So I know, A, I eat before I go. B, if I'm going to the grocery store, I make a list and I buy just what's on the list. I stick to it. And sometimes I'll call people and say, hey, I'm really scared to go in the grocery store. And people that really know me, they understand. Today I don't need to do that anymore, but I did that for the first year. C, I make sure that I have somebody with me that understands what I'm going through. So if I'm having like an emotional issue, I make sure that I'm surrounded by people that really love me. And if you don't have that, make sure then you have the space for yourself. I started to journal. This was very powerful for me. I needed to be able to find out what was really going on within inside of me and take time for myself. We'll take time for everybody else in the world, but when it comes down to ourselves, we'll put us on the back burner. And number 5 is really be compassionate with yourself when these things show up. Small changes over long periods of time. We're not going to change overnight, so you're probably going to binge eat again. So have that expectation. Or you might eat and throw up again. Have that expectation. Or you might over-exercise, so have that expectation. So look at the big picture. Small changes over long periods of time. When it happens, of course you did. We're going to do a little bit better next time, honey. I learned to parent myself. I learned to talk to myself as I would my nephews, or if you have children, that works too. How would you talk to yourself? Talking to yourself is the biggest part of dealing with eating disorders, because most of the time it's self-hatred and we have a critic that is a perfectionist. So dealing to talk to ourselves as we would everybody else is part of the biggest part of the recovery, along with setting up successful tricks when we fall into the hole. So dealing with emotional eating is not very, it's common, but I think a lot of people deal with it more in a rigidity, but that doesn't work. Dealing it with love is how we deal with success and flexibility. And face it, we're never going to get this. We're not going to get this overnight. So be gentle with yourself, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Wendy Sebastian.